Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Indie Comics Talk. Tonight we have the artist on Etheris. Am I saying it correctly, first of all? No. Etheris?
Yes, very good.
Etheris.
I've been
Dennis,
trying to
welcome
figure out
in.
those E's and R's for so long.
I've
Really?
been staring at it, trying to figure out, and I'm like, nobody's pronouncing this anywhere. I guess I should have found an interview where Anas was talking about it and
It's fine.
picked it
Because
up.
somebody
But
requests it, and then I have to correct the people that misspelled it too. So it happens.
and I was like, I actually did a Google search earlier, like maybe I can find something pronouncing this somewhere, and it's like, did you mean ethers?
You're like, no.
I was like, no.
Nice try, Google.
I specifically put it in quotes. But welcome in, Dennis, and thank you for joining us tonight to talk about this.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And for those watching, originally we were going to have Anas on with us tonight, but due to everything going on over in Turkey and Syria with the earthquakes, Anas is, I'd say he's dealing with processing what's happening over there, and I reached out to him earlier today and asked, if he was okay to come on still, or if he wanted to reschedule, and he said, Dennis has this. Dennis is going to tell us everything about the story.
He knows what's up.
I do.
And, thoughts are out there for the people in Syria and Turkey. We did drop a link in the description for people to donate to aid efforts that are going on over there right now. So please, if you're watching this and you have some money to spare, please help out. I was sharing something on Instagram earlier. The exchange rate to helping over there is for US dollars to money in Turkey and Syria is beneficial in that your money is going to go a lot further to help in aid efforts. So please help out. I dropped the link in the live chat as well. And Jason Sandberg's in here. Happy Friday Eve. Thank you for joining us.
Or it's already Friday where Dennis is.
Is it? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dennis joining us over from the Netherlands. 3 a.m. over there, you said?
Yep.
Thank you for being here and filling in so that Anas can, really take time for himself during this.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, he's from Syria, so he's taking it very hard, and he sends his love to everybody watching. So
yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
So with our interviews, we'd like to start out with having you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into reading comics and then taking that step to comic creation.
Yeah, your comic origin story.
My comic book origins. Well, I'm not from the U.S. as you can hear, and as you just mentioned, I'm from the Netherlands. And for Anderson, myself, it wasn't very, normal to see comic books in stores anywhere. Actually, it was pretty hard to come by when we were younger, especially when I was younger because I'm older than he is. But you don't see comic books everywhere. You do now, but not back then. So when I was about, I think, 6 or 7 years old, my grandmother, she got like a folder weekly, and it had, I think, 20 magazines like on cooking and lifestyle stuff. But there were also comic books, Donald Duck, and that stuff. But there was also Spider-Man translated. Yeah. So I got my first Spider-Man, and I was like, I've never seen this before in my life. What on earth is this?
I'm appropriately dressed for this.
I want to do this. So, apparently my uncle had a box full of comic books from the 70s in his attic. I got all of those, read through them in a weekend, I think. And I loved to draw back then. Anyone would tell you that at any birthday I was just sitting in the corner with a sketchbook drawing. So yeah, that's I thought maybe one day I could make comic books, but not from the U.S. It was very, very. It seemed impossible to get in touch with people that made comic books over there. there's a healthy comic book industry in Europe. The Franco-Belgian ones. Mobius is French, for
Yeah.
instance. But I love American comic books. I love superheroes. So, but I didn't think that was like a real thing I could do. I could be an illustrator, could practice drawing until I got good, and then maybe sell some stuff, make some paintings.
Mm-hmm.
But then the advent of internet happened. I get people, I can just reach out to people. But I didn't feel I was like my work was strong enough to sell comic books. And I had a decent job selling guitars, which is fun. And and I got some freelance work, but then some personal stuff happened. My mother passed away, and I lost a job. And I told my wife, you know what, I'm just gonna try and do it. Try and make comic books. And I made a Facebook page because I didn't have Facebook. This is the origin story of it's a funny story because again, I didn't have a Facebook page. I didn't use my real name. I had an I had an Instagram page, but not a Facebook. And there was this page, I think it was called Writers Looking for Artists or something like that. So, but you couldn't post like licensed stuff in there. And I had some Spider-Man fan art, X-Men stuff I did in my free time, but I couldn't post it there. So I had no examples. I just popped in there and I said, I would like to make comic books. Find me on Instagram. Excuse me. And I saw that, and red flags, because new Facebook page, no information, not an actual name. But he went on Instagram, he found me, and he saw some of my work. He loved a specific one, which was a WandaVision piece, I think he would say. And he contacted me for another book, actually. I'll get back to that. And he said, would you like to make a comic book? And I said, yes, please. So we got to make a comic book. I started doing it full time May last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
Anis and I are like the closest friends now. We talk on a daily basis, not just comics, but life and everything. We're very good friends. That's awesome. And which is good, because we're not in the US. There's not like a lot of comic book nerds in our vicinity. Just people say I make comic books, and they say, oh, like Donald Duck, for instance. I'm using Donald Duck again. Like, no, not like Donald Duck. And then I tell them I'm trying to get into American comic books, and they're like, "Oh, right, that's cool." I'm like, I'm serious.
Yeah,
serious, you guys. But we worked intensively on this story, and we speak to each other every day. And then we got lucky. I think we pitched the book to a couple of publishers, and it got picked up. Our first comic book.
Yeah. Just like that. I feel like you've had the easiest, just like kind of.
Yeah.
Like you just knew what you wanted to do, and like it just kind of fell into you.
No, that's not true. I would say
not even really.
I think I sort of prepared to get into comic books. Like I said, I didn't think I made comic books for myself, and I collect a lot of books. I have thousands of trade paperbacks. I have the closet you see behind me is very, very big, and I didn't think I was ready. And then I thought, okay, now I'm ready. I'm gonna do it. It sounds. I don't want to come off as being arrogant here, but I didn't feel I was ready. And then I got to a point where I read a comic book.
Maybe I can make money doing this.
I saw established books, and sometimes I'm like, this is amazing, and sometimes like, oh, maybe I could do that, And
I have to ask, is this the piece?
That's it. That's the piece. Yes, we love that.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I was looking. I'm like, all right. It says 82 weeks ago. That's probably timeline-wise. That'd be about right. A little over, over a year ago.
That's a while ago.
But if he's looking back through what you had posted, that makes sense.
Feels weird to
Yeah.
think that WandaVision was so long ago.
Yeah, it was. I think when the show came out is when I made that. I think. Not sure. Might be.
I don't know. It feels like WandaVision was both yesterday and like 10 years
These
ago.
I
So
still
maybe we're traveling through time in WandaVision right now, and
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. It's Friday where I'm at.
right,
True.
we got a time traveler on the show right now. So let's talk about. Now I'm going to forget exactly how to say it. I'm going to overthink how to say it. Etheris.
Yes, you did it.
There
Etheris.
we go.
Let's talk about what this comic is about.
Well, this is usually where Anna
Loaded
says.
question.
Give us your version of the elevator pitch.
Yeah, he does. He just flows through the story. I can't. I'm not.
Shall
as
I
good
bring
as-
up
as he is.
his quote from the AIPT article?
Oh no, I can tell you, but he's just very good at it, and I'm not.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no. Etheris is about it's about Valerie, and Valerie finds herself deceased, and she's in a realm which is unfamiliar to her. It's basically a realm where souls go where they don't belong anywhere else. And she finds herself accompanied by a weird creature, which is yeah, pretty much inspired by the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland, which is a story we both love as kids, and I think everybody does. Yeah, and he's like her tormentor, but also a guide through the realm. And through the story, she basically has to confront her past and her mistakes, and then who knows what happens in the end. I'm not going to spoil that here.
Can't say that.
That's it in a nutshell.
It's phenomenal. The fact that, and I think we can say this, it's poetry throughout the entire comic. It's not
Absolutely.
It's not a typical.
It's not like dialogue bubbles.
Loud
No.
cars going by. It's not a typical comic book. I think it's better.
I like things like that, the little like tropes and versions, and just how like things are always delivered to you.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is I don't know if you've read his previous work. He made 2 other books, Eleutheromania and Objects in the Mirror, which are also very heavy on poetry. But I've read most of his works now, and he has a large variety of styles actually. This one has like a narrative structure more or less, and narration as well. We yes, there we go. Heather Vaughn cover. Funded on Zoop. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And here's Eleutheromania. Yes, he funded that himself.
Objects in the Mirror was how I first came across him with Zoop.
Yeah, he got funded I think a month or 2 ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
But that's heavier on the poetry. He's an excellent poet. It's very being from Syria and the background he has, it's very tragic, all of it, and he's dealing with his own trauma as well through books, and you can really feel that when you're reading it. At least I did. I was like, oh man, I gotta go have a little cry in the corner now.
There's
yeah.
This story in particular definitely has a lot of trauma being
on you.
through.
Yeah.
I talked with Fel Hound recently on the channel, and of course her book And We Love You, also tragic sad girl story. And when we were talking, she was saying that her and Anas had come up with the
Dead Winter Girl.
Dead Winter Girl instead of Hot Girl Summer. Yeah.
Dead Girl Winter.
Yeah. They're nuts.
So.
Yeah.
Love it. It's pretty on point for both of the stories. And if you you need a good emotional story, good story to
True,
cry
but
over what's
I feel
happening.
it has some.
Sometimes you just need a good cry.
Yeah, but it has some ambiguity to it. I don't think it's
Yes.
really spelled out what the traumas are specifically, um, which is what I like. I like that it's. I didn't have the same past as Anis did, but I could still relate to the story, and the
Hmm.
character, which is what I like
Yeah,
about
it's
all
up
of his
for the
stories. By the way,
it's up for the reader to interpret and experience from their own history.
And
absolutely.
everybody will get something out of it that they can relate to. But it may not be the same thing, but it's always. I feel like those are the best stories, are the ones that are tangible across
Absolutely.
the board to people for different reasons.
Yeah, agreed.
And we do have to show off the awesome artwork that you put into this
So
because
good.
it's
It's obscenely pretty,
beautiful.
sir.
Obscenely.
It
Wow.
is obscenely pretty. And I stand by that statement.
I'll put that on my resume.
There we go. But yeah, cover here that you did, just one. If I saw that on the shelf without having ever come across it,
Yeah.
I'm picking this up and flipping through it because
That's what made me want to look at it. I was like, well, this looks pretty. And I was like, okay, it's pretty. I like
That's
this.
the point of a cover.
I support this
right.
decision.
But there's a lot of books out there on the shelf that the cover doesn't match the interior,
Yeah.
and so you might look at the cover and be like, "This is beautiful," and you open it up and it's not beautiful on the inside, and you say, "What is this?" And you put
Or
it
it's a
back on the
totally
shelf.
different like tone or
Yeah.
style.
This you
Yeah.
open it up, and you say, "It is just as beautiful," and then there's beautiful words in here and sad words in here, and I'm gonna pick this up. It keeps itself consistent there.
Hmm.
Yeah, it usually happens when you have like different artists for the cover and the interiors, of course, which is a
Yeah.
practice that you only see in America. By the way, that really doesn't happen in Europe, or I don't think that happens in Japan either, which is another big comic book market right there.
Hmm.
But it gets confusing sometimes. I'm sort of a trade paperback collector, so it really doesn't matter to me. But sometimes I buy books just for the cover or the interior artist. But
Yep, guilty.
when you're a new name in the business, if you will, you want to have a good cover that really speaks to people, or they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna buy that." And then if the interiors are like if they match, which for me is an important point, that what you're just saying right now, the interiors need to match the cover. I didn't use a different style or anything for the cover that I used for the interiors,
Yeah.
which means my page work takes a bit longer than usual, but
But you kind of know what you're getting into when you look at it.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's no surprises here.
And like you said, for especially for smaller indie books, names that maybe aren't out there yet in the world, but are going to be because the work is fantastic. You have to have that kind of thing going on here, where you know what you're getting when you look
Yeah.
at it. So you guys did a great job with design and setting things up to allow that to happen.
Yeah, we had some excellent communication on those points too, which is really great because and as the scripts are they're very clear in what you should be drawing, but there's a lot of space to do whatever you please. Like the page we have in front of us, for instance.
Everybody's favorite page.
Yeah, apparently so. Yes.
It's the cat. It's really the cat.
Nobody has seen all the pages yet. Oh, you guys may have,
Fair.
by the way. But this seems to be a favorite. Yeah, but this went through a couple of passes. The script had just the elements and the poem,
Mhm.
and my first draft was this scene, but like less graphic, if you will, graphical, like a graphic designy.
Hmm.
It was just Valerie sitting there in a field with a person with a glass in front of her. But I made the second pass. I was like, I think this would be more striking as looks like a sort of an old Italian horror movie poster, which is a
Yeah.
fun design choice. Mario Fulci stuff. Being nerdy here, sorry. But he was like, "Yes, go for it.
We're here
Do
to
whatever
nerd
you
out.
please."
I love it. I like that. I would have never picked that up, but I love that it's actually in a reference to something.
It isn't, but not directly. But
Just
you know,
to the style
Design
more.
style.
yeah, you pick up
Okay,
so
I
many
see. I
stuff
see.
you enjoy that there's always connections
Oh, yeah.
to stuff in here.
Yeah. And we started talking about it before, before kicking off, and I was like, let's hold off till we go live. But I love just like the use of just white space to really focus the reader in on what's going on here. Versus you could have done the same thing but had something in the background there, and I think it wouldn't have been as stark and drawing the eyes of the reader over to her right there in the cup.
Yeah, and there's a couple of pages, splash pages with full poems, which sort of signify the end of a chapter or the beginning of one. So this also takes you out of the narrative for a second, like you're revisiting memory. It needs to be different than the pages before or after the regular story, if you will.
Yeah. Honestly, I had such a fun time reading through the poem pages. That's just straight poem and it's not the story piece. I think I was reading it out loud. I'm like, I kind of want Anas to do an audio version of the comic
I'll tell
and
him that. He has a
and
nice
read us
voice.
the
Spoken word
comic
to it.
in like the spoken word version of the poem. Because I feel like it hit better, like even better as I was saying it aloud versus just reading it. Like the
All right,
beats
that's okay.
hit
We're
so
going to
nice.
give that advice to people. Read it out loud.
Read this comic out loud.
I love
It
it.
You're gonna have even more fun or even more tragedy reading it.
Yeah, and you can because you
Uh,
can't do that with all comics. You can maybe sing even. Don't sing.
It depends how
Yeah.
well you can sing.
but like you said, kind of like,
Yeah.
we have the whole full poem page here, and then we kind of have these other pages that are more kind of traditional comic style with
Yeah.
the panels, but
Mhm.
still not really traditional comic style. I'd say they still add their own flair here, or you add your own flair to the style.
Yeah, I try to do some more like traditional stuff with more inks, for instance. But I really enjoy coloring as well. I wouldn't say I'm a colorist, but I don't see the sorry, the line work and colors as a separate thing. I think it's
Okay.
one thing.
I'm still struck by how pretty it is. I'm just like, this is unfair. Can
Why
you
is
draw
that?
one bad page?
I
Please
can't,
don't.
but I'm not going to show you.
Those are the ones that we don't see.
Exactly.
The
Well,
first drafts.
it's just practice. It's just practice.
Yeah.
I also want to give a shout out to Michelle Abinader, who did the edits, and I want to give a shout out to DC Hopkins, who is the letterer on everything nowadays.
Yeah. If you're reading indie comics, you're gonna see his name on a lot of them.
Absolutely.
Or
And he nailed it
he's
too. There's 2 lettered pages in the previews you got now, but he nailed it.
Yeah, those 2 pages right there. But yeah, reading through the full comic, fantastic letters. Of course, editors, I feel like thank you for shouting out the editor here,
Yeah.
because editors don't ever get any love. Like even as in this article, they don't credit an editor on here. So always good to hear creative teams shouting out their editors.
Absolutely. I mean, Anna's had a lot of help from her. Sorry, I'm getting a cough.
Okay.
Because English is not our native language, so it always helps to have an extra eye. And from what I gathered, Anas uses an Arabic rhythm in his poetry, which is very specific. And he wasn't sure if that translated well to English. He just wanted to make sure it does. And
Yeah.
so she was a big help in that.
I think the rhythm definitely came through. Like I said, as I was reading it, I was picking up on
Reading
that.
it out loud, yeah.
Yeah, and that was I felt like, I don't know, it just kept me going beat by beat throughout those big poem pages, and I like
That's
that.
cool.
Let me bring this back out over here. So coming from Source Point Press, it's going to be March 22nd.
I think it's still up for FOC.
Yeah, not hit FOC yet. So
I know I added it to somebody else's request last week for someone at my job. So
good news.
It's so.
I just think it looks pretty. I put it in because I saw the cover and I was like, all right, this sounds interesting.
Okay, cool.
And then we're gonna have.
And then I got to see more of it, and I was like, yep, this is interesting.
Will you, if you have it in the store, will you take a picture, please?
Yeah. I'll take a picture of it with me.
I have like a bucket list of stuff I really want. Like being in previews was one. I had another one this week. I have this this app which tracks the comics I collect.
DLZ.
It was in there, and I was like,
"Yeah, I saw your post."
Yeah, I'll show you what it looks like. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's cool.
In my hand, in the real world.
It's so nerve-wracking because first comic. I don't know if people are gonna order it. I don't know what people are gonna think. We had a review last week. I can't share it because it's very spoiler heavy, but it was a good review, and I was like, "What's going on?"
The thing I made. What is this?
I do have it in my queue to write up a review, so hopefully I can get that done before FOC. So there's reviews out there. I'll try to put a non-spoilery one out there for you. So
yes, we can share it. Yeah.
I try not to put spoilers in my reviews as much as possible. Sometimes I get slightly spoilery because there's something I like really want.
You gotta just like, hey, spoiler alert.
Yeah, and I'll
throw it's just the last couple of pages are like that's where the spoiler is, and make sure it's a good review. That would be nice too.
It clearly is because we wanted to talk with you guys and. On this channel, the people that we have on are the people that we enjoy what they're creating.
Of course.
So
I want to see more.
It's a positive review, 100%. But I have not gotten to sit and actually write it because I have like a list of like 10, 15.
Jeremy overworks himself, and I underwork violently.
Yeah, I'm like, can you just like write one review?
I do it for work. Pay me.
I know she does it for her comic shop, but I'm like, just copy paste it over to our website.
Yeah, they're like short little blurbs.
Oh, it's got to be such a fun job working for.
I love it. I have no complaints about doing what I do every day. I get to nerd out all day every day at work.
Oh my god, I'm so jealous.
Anytime a new show drops or something drops, everyone comes in and they're like, "Let's go, let's talk."
I live in like a very rural part of the Netherlands, and like I said, there's not a lot of comic book stuff here anyway, but. Where I live, there's none. There's really none.
I am a big Star Wars fan too, so anytime a new thing comes out, I'm like, nothing matters anymore. It's Star Wars.
Star Wars time.
So do you get like a lot of your comics? You said you have thousands of trade paperbacks. Do you have to go online to get those, or do you go?
No, there are some shops in Rotterdam and Amsterdam, for instance, and I go there sometimes. But I have my online stores. I have them for years, and there's cons since I think for the last 10 years that there have been cons in Belgium. I live close to Belgium, so that's a good comic book country. It's like 30 minutes away from me, and I'm in Antwerp, which is a lovely city. So I just order them.
Closer to get to Belgium than to get over to Amsterdam or Rotterdam?
Yes, way closer. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
But my wife is from Rotterdam, so we go there.
Okay, makes sense.
Very cool.
So what other types of comics do you nerd out over? I know Spider-Man was among those first ones that you were.
Yeah, and I still love Spider-Man, but I haven't collected it for a while. No particular reason. It's just I read other stuff now. I'm still a big X-Men buff. I have I think almost everything that is in trade paperback form from X-Men, but a lot of Image stuff too. Especially the last couple of years, there's some really good stuff. Sandman. Anything Batman.
Finally started reading that, didn't you, Jeremy?
Yes, I did. Finally, book 1 finally done.
Was it the show or no?
I was trying to read it before that, and then the show happened, and I was like, all right, now I really need to read it. It's been
Shows
on.
came out, and I could not keep those books in stock. They
Listen,
were
like
so good. Oh my god, the show was so well done.
the top 2 shelves over there are stuff I haven't read, and some of that's been there for.
Is that Sentinel?
This is
What?
mine.
Is that Sentinel on the front?
Sentinel?
Is that no? Never mind. It's a
I
book.
don't know.
This,
Don't worry about it.
I'm not sure.
this is my to read list.
We don't need
It's
to
manageable. Manageable. I also have a bunch
just
of.
have a
No,
cart
I have
like
another
offspring right
30 epic collections upstairs. So.
Damn.
Oof. Yeah.
Oh, I love Hellboy too. PPRD.
Hellboy is not something I've.
I gravitate towards artists a lot, though. I don't know about you
Okay.
guys.
Okay.
But I usually,
You're a big Mignola fan,
which
then?
is, you know,
You were talking about
Sorry?
earlier.
Are you a
Oh.
big Mike Mignola fan?
yeah. I'm a very big Magnolia. I just the ease.
Understandable. He's one of those dudes who, like, you see something he's drawn and you can just tell, like, that's him, that's his style. Like, he has such
but
a
that's
fingerprint in what
those
he
are my
does.
favorite artists. The one that have a distinct style. Like you see one panel, and you know them. I just love that. Like Chris Picciolo is one of those people I love. Like I see a panel and I just know it's him. Sienkiewicz.
Yeah,
Bill Sienkiewicz.
Mhm.
his art's very good.
I love James Herron is pretty good too. I love James Herron. Did you guys read Ultra Mega?
Yeah, I read part of.
I read the
Ultra Mega.
first issue.
Oh man,
I think I got 2 issues, and then I was like, I'm gonna pick this up in the trade, and then I still haven't picked it up in the trade.
It was one of those I'm reading an obscene amount of stuff.
Yes, my list is always over what it should be.
yeah.
Many comics. Surprisingly, this last week I picked up like 7 things, and I was like,
This
"That's
last week hurt for me.
this is the lowest I've picked up in a week."
I picked up a manga book set though, so that's fine.
So I picked this up instead.
All right. Good
I've
stuff.
been loving everything Mark Russell's writing. So I was like, let me go back to some of his Ahoy stuff. Gonna work through some of that next. You're talking about you've been doing a lot of image reading.
Yeah.
Did you read Die?
I did not.
Mm,
You know?
Are you a fan of RPGs at all? Like D&D?
Yeah, sure. I just don't have the time for any of that. I haven't
feel
mentioned
that.
it, but we have a 1-year-old daughter too, so there's no time for that stuff.
oh, busy.
Yeah. Well, if you want to, I guess, experience it without having to play it, I guess, if you want to read it in a comic, Die's kind of based off of some of that. And if you're a fan of Stephanie Hans's art at all, it's beautiful. It's
All right.
beautiful inside.
It's
I
unfair that
think
she doesn't do more interiors.
Yeah. She had they created a Image does their hardcovers for like collecting things. They have one for that now.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be one definitely recommend if you're like looking to like follow the artist and look at the art
Absolutely.
side of things. They're fantastic.
All right, another one for the list then.
Another one.
Have you jumped on the Saga train?
Yeah, Anna's got me onto the Saga train actually. So I just read the entire thing in one evening. There was a sale for a compendium too. So
Yeah.
One evening?
yes.
Oh,
You have read Saga, right? You
I
can't-
intentionally stretched it out as long as I could because I knew it was in the middle of its break, and I was like,
Yeah, but I read it.
take my
just before
time. I
the-
don't have to wait
Yeah.
as long.
It
Yeah, so-
was back out though, so he could hop back in real quick.
Exactly. But that was phenomenal. It was just so natural, the storytelling.
Mhm.
Yeah. Some of the best sci-fi storytelling out there. I guess fantasy sci-fi.
Yeah,
All
but
of it,
the
all of it.
sci-fi
We have
to
it
me
in
was-
both sections in our shop,
yeah. Well, yeah, it's
but we
great.
don't know where to put it.
Yeah,
But
that's
it is sci-fi. But I think the sci-fi is just a backdrop, though. It's just
Mhm.
the storytelling is about people, sort of.
Yeah.
And,
It's lightly Star Warsy.
yeah, the hero's journey and whatnot.
Yeah.
And Black Science is pretty
Aliens,
good.
Star Trekky as well. Yeah.
That's one I need to read still, Black Science.
You should.
It's on the list.
I've been told several times I would enjoy that one a lot.
Everything Remender is on the list.
My app says that I have the writer I have the most stories from is Remender. I didn't know that.
This is coming
Mine
up.
might be Snyder.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of Snyder stuff.
Oh.
I
just find that, like, I'll pick something up, I enjoy it, and I'm like, who wrote this? Oh, Scott Snyder.
Yeah.
That's why.
For me, that's Remender.
How do I see what? All creators? No.
God,
Let's
I
do
haven't
that.
updated my app in so long.
I
Wait,
haven't updated it recently, but other statistics, maybe.
What we got?
Comics by creator. That can't be right.
Oh, yeah. My number one is now Mike Mignola.
Weirdly, mine says Axel Alonso, but I'm wondering if that's from his time as like editor at Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I've got Clayton Cowles, who does the letters on Die. Pretty sure. So it must be maybe his letters on other things in there. I'm trying to find like where we get to like writers. Huh. I haven't updated it in probably 3 months, so it's probably way off. It says Donny Cates though. That's probably because I have had a lot of Venom, and I haven't removed the Venom that I've gotten rid of. So
Venom, I like Venom when I was 15, but you know.
Yeah, there were parts of his run that I really enjoyed, and there were parts that I probably should have dropped the run.
I have an obscene amount of Kieran Gillen stuff too.
Yeah,
me too.
I feel like that surprises nobody.
Well,
not at
when
all.
you start drawing
Just all Dr. Aphra.
All of his Dr. Aphra, Star Wars,
Every single Dr. Aphra book that's ever been published, multiple covers.
Die.
There you go.
No problem.
And he did Once and Future, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Dan Mora, right?
Dan Mora did the art.
Yep, Dan Mora on the art.
Yeah, that's in my list too.
That is such a good
it's
series.
Fantastic.
If you're into Arthurian legends and like that style fantasy, I cannot recommend it enough.
I'm a big history buff.
It and then Wicked and Divine as well. For if you're into gods and goddesses, that Lore Olympus, gotta read those too.
All right.
They're some
Too many recommendations, people.
You came on this interview, you didn't realize you were going to get recommendations for books. So you see
I do this all day. What you like? I can recommend books for you.
The progression from like white to black there through the like grays.
Sure.
That's Wicked and Divine right there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a lot.
I love that book.
There's like 9 volumes. 9.
A hardcover does exist. You just won't be able to find. Well, you might be able to find it at your shops. It's like not a thing in the States anymore.
I'm really curious to read Briar as well.
Oh, that's been great.
That looks good.
Yeah.
I hopped on that train real quick. I was like, yeah. Fuck that fairy tale
right now, so
I pre-ordered a trade paperback, which is coming out soon. So.
Yeah.
I think you'll really enjoy it.
Yeah, I like
the art too has been phenomenal in that.
But you know, when you start drawing comics, you don't really have the time to read any.
Mm-hmm.
That is something that we hear from creators a lot. Is once you start creating, your time to read drops off, but you still try to find those really good things that like really speak to you that you want to get in on.
Yeah.
Things that keep you inspired, things that keep you creating.
Yeah, my Twitter feed is always full of good stuff, so I try to keep it, negative stuff free.
Yeah.
So that's pretty fun.
And having a baby is also very time consuming as well.
Yeah. It is, but the yes and no, because I don't work for a boss anymore, so I can just work whenever I want or not work whenever I want. So I get to spend more time with our daughter than the average dad, I think.
That's really nice.
I'm sure she loves it too.
Yeah, I would hope so.
She's not screaming from you, so it's good.
No, she loves her poppy.
Oh,
that's good. It's good to have that ability to spend more time with her and and then you get to create and
Yeah,
be
it's
with
nice
it.
that your passion isn't taking you away from your family.
No, it's keeping us together. I don't have to, go to work at 9 and get back at 5 and do that 5 days. God, I'm getting exhausted thinking about it. Never again.
I'm I'm exhausted from experiencing it currently.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I'm sorry. But you work in a comic book shop, so you have nothing to
Yeah, I mean,
complain.
like, I work long hours, but like, I get to
Yeah,
read when
whatever.
nobody's in the shop. I get to talk about comics all day.
Oh, very good. I'm jealous.
I love it. Truly, even if I do complain, it's more about like people having a bad attitude than what I do all day.
That's fair. Uh, are there any art styles? I know you said there's a lot of artists that you like to follow, like Magnola. Any art styles that you pull inspiration from for kind of like your style that you've developed?
Well, I couldn't name a single thing. Like I said, I just mentioned a specific movie poster from the 70s. So
Yeah, just
yeah,
all
no,
kinds of random things
yeah,
bring that inspiration
yeah.
together.
Like certain techniques, I guess. I know what I don't like, but there's not specifically a thing I
I love that.
I aim for.
Just
I mean,
everything
hey,
that you're
it
consuming,
happens.
just
I'm
like
still not over
I
the
want to do.
fact that in the middle of the Joker run with Tynan on the writing, they just changed the artist for a single issue, didn't say anything about it, and then went back. I was like, excuse me,
She will never get
No,
over this.
I will fight you, DC Comics. I'm still not over it.
yeah, but
Like a year ago.
I mean,
Yeah, we're on volume 2, almost
I'm not
done.
looking for any of those big people, but I think the industry is just it's pretty stressful, and it's probably a scheduling thing or something. But
It's just like, what
the
is this?
readers
Where's
want
my
their Joker
artist?
comic.
Who did this?
Yeah, they're like the artist was probably like, I can get you the cover. I can't do the interiors on this one.
It was just
Yeah,
so jarring to like have the style change suddenly, and I was like, why? What? This isn't the same book I was reading.
yeah, it's very confusing.
I remember we were doing a stream. I think it was like that night or the next day, and you were just
I was still big mad about it. Listen, I will never get over that.
you won't.
We're all collectively sorry.
I actually kind of forgot about it.
I just want him to be sorry.
Probably not his fault.
No, it was not his fault at all. He probably had to do another book or something.
Yeah.
But you know what I do like? I like those old like I think it's the 70s, and they had these vinyls by progressive rock musicians, and they had these weird trippy oil paintings and stuff. I love that too. And just old,
when it comes out, heavy metal drummer.
Yeah.
You will really like that.
I've seen that. Yeah, that
it's
looks
like it was such an
So
enjoyable read because of that weird trippy art style to it.
Yeah, Chad Moore.
10 out of 10.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Doctor Strange series that's coming out right now, I open it up and I'm like, how do you see real life? Because this is insane, and I love every moment of this.
Did you read the Silver Surfer Black run?
Yes. Also, if Marvel calls me tomorrow and says what series would you like to do, sir, I would say give me a Silver Surfer run. But yes, that's one of my favorites actually. But I gotta say, Chad Moore is awesome, but his colorist on that book, I don't know if he does Doctor Strange too, but that is insane. That is just weird, and it's all flat colors, but it's still pretty impressive.
I mean, they got to work with Chad's like weird style on everything, and
I wonder if he does like paint by numbers, like he puts like an R for red.
Maybe.
Like, how do you talk about this with someone and be like, here, color my acid drip?
I don't know, because I think his work in just inks is you gotta really focus, like what's this? All right, and then when color it gets added to it, then you see what it is. But when there's no color, it might be, pretty hard to.
Yeah, there's all these lines
to look at with color. And I say that with love in my heart, because it's one of those, like, you look at the page for a while, you don't just flip through and quickly consume.
I thought I heard somewhere that the average time that readers look at a panel is 1.2 seconds.
Probably.
How
I find myself, and I will compare this because I read a lot of manga too. I will find myself like flipping back pages or like just far more looking at the art, I feel, in that than I do in comics half the time.
Really?
Unless it's something that I'm like an artist I love or something. It's like if I'm reading through a Marvel book, half the time the dialogue doesn't even match the poses and positions that the characters are standing in.
Sure.
Yeah.
I try to really, I don't know. I follow the artist usually, as I mentioned. So I try to, I really study those sometimes. I can like pick up a book like for the 50th time and see how this person did that with this stroke. And,
but that's when I'm always like, I see an artist and I'm like, oh, okay, this is like with your book, I was like, okay, damn, I want to read this. Like the art is that level of like, I don't want to miss out on this.
Yeah, you don't want to spend 1.2 seconds on it, you know?
Right.
It's something that I'm going to sit here and go, I've been looking at this and I'm not going to stop looking at this.
Yeah.
Go.
You need to
let me look at this more.
The next one too, obviously, but it's sequential.
You also get an extended period of time looking at your panels because some of them are full page. So you gotta look at them for a real long time. Automatically, time goes up.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's just the comparative of like people who work on their own comics, I feel, have a lot more freedom to develop the background and make those little things in there. Whereas when you're trying to like tell the story that you've been hired to tell.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, with the sometimes you have like you need to be on model, you know.
Mm-hmm.
or
you got to do something very specific.
Got it. Yeah, it might not fit your typical art style, but you got to fit it in somehow.
I mean, some artists can do that, but they're usually established people, you know. If you do like a fill-in story, then you just gotta, you know, oh, this is Peter Parker and this is the way he looks, dude.
Yeah. I guess you just gotta be tried more and just do whatever you want.
Exactly.
Make people look.
You're like, hey, my art's awesome. These characters are gonna look how they look.
Well, he does get the trippy stories, you know. He gets Doctor Strange and stuff, you know. It's not like he's gonna do
the what's going through your mind as you're dying story.
Yeah, that might be you know, why he's selected for those books too. So it goes both ways.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Like I just read another comic that did a lot of like splash pages throughout it, and so then I saw, you know, was looking through this recently. I was like, this is awesome. I love this. I love more just like focus on the art while there is a story being told, but we get this, the art's put in our face. And it's not like focus on this word bubble that consumes half of the panel.
I don't want paragraphs in my comic books. I'm a very big fan of the art is there for a reason.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. The art is telling the story along with, and in this case, Anas's words telling us the story in poetry.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you don't see a lot of like full-on poetry in books, I guess, but you can't really separate that either in different panels, or maybe in panels, but not you can't.
Well, I mean, like when you've got like text bubbles that are just like paragraphs.
Yeah.
Like I guess example, like, you know, in one of these panels, there are some comics where half of this it doesn't show my mouse, but this one
it would be covered with just words.
It's like all dialogue, and you lose out on the art.
Yeah,
so that's I think it's an unfortunate thing that sometimes happens in like the more mainstream comics where they've
gotta explain things going on that aren't actively being seen.
But with indie comics, you guys have that.
Show don't tell.
Yeah.
But I think that's because Anas has a background in the visual arts. He was he studied film school, and he does some collage work as well. And my point is he knows what can be told visually as well. You know,
well, and even on the whole splash page that you guys have, where it's the negative space, like the words are not impacting or taking away. It's very added to. You're reading it in the form of the negative space.
Yeah. That's
instead of just being like, here, we're going to cover your page. We're going to cover the beautiful hand with just a word bubble.
Yeah, that's that would be like, if that would happen, I would have something to say about that.
You know, that's cover this art up.
DC is
or like if you'd done a background and then he was like, all right, now I'm going to slap this over it.
Yeah, but when you draw the thing, you need to consider that there's going to be text in there as well. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
there's the famous meme that says, "Did you leave room for the
The Anakin Padme one?
Yeah, that one.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But every panel I'm doing, I keep thinking of that. And this is not even a book with speech bubbles.
Yeah.
Which I've been doing now, but it's kind of weird for me. I'm like, oh right, they're gonna say something.
I love that.
Open their mouth.
If you could give me a comic book that had, and I did, the Step by Bloody Step was done exactly like this. No dialogue bubbles.
Yeah.
The 6 dialogue bubbles that you have are a foreign alien language written in glyphs, so you don't actually know what the words are. And I was like, I love every moment of this. It is great. It is exclusively art driven.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Yeah.
I was obsessed with it.
But we wanted to have the visuals tell the story, even if you couldn't read English. That's kind of the And
have a visual
people have told me that worked, but I haven't had a lot of feedback yet, which will happen when it's out. I'm sweating already.
No, I think visually we're getting what's going on here, but the Anas's poetry then with that just hits home the message and the story. And like you said, it's open for interpretation at a certain level because everyone has something different in their past that they can connect and really take away with this story.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So everyone needs to go tell their shops about this because
yes, please.
Still got time before FOC.
It goes on sale on the 22nd of March. Realistically, you should have till like whatever the Monday, the 21st, 20th, 22nd is for.
Yeah, February. It's probably going to be the February 20th or potentially 27th.
I'm going to go with the 20th. That sounds like what I saw on the computer.
Yeah, I can't see that.
I was in Diamond the other day. Like I said, I added it to somebody's request the other day.
The comic shop side of things.
So I had to go in and make sure, like, wait. Yeah, we're good.
28th is the cutoff date.
Ah, wow. They gave it an extra week?
Wait, I
don't know. This is my first book. I don't know how this works.
Normally they shorten it.
Either way, tell your shops now, so then you're well ahead of the cutoff date, no matter what happens.
Yeah.
That's always my advice. Order early. Your shop sees ordering.
It matters. We're just we're new creators.
And there are some shops too that they won't order any for the shelf until somebody requests one for their box. So request one for your box.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Or pre-order it.
Every pre-order matters.
Yeah. That's one thing always. It's just like shops will not order books if people are not ordering them for their subscription boxes.
You don't hear anybody coming in and talking about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of books out there as well. So how would you know? You can't stock everything.
Absolutely. And Source Point Press, even they're putting out a lot of stuff too.
They're kicking it up slowly.
Yeah, we did our 2022 Indies Awards show, and we had nominated Source Point Press as like one of the best indie publishers for putting out less than 6 books a month on average. And
we're like,
they showed up with the statistics and said that is wrong. The least they had last year was 8 books in a month, but most months it was like 10 or 12. I was like, I was wrong, so wrong.
But
you guys are still awesome. Source Point Press, lots of things.
Yeah, we're very happy to get picked up by them.
And they've been doing a lot of cool one-shot comics like this. They recently put some stuff out from Jonathan Hedrick that was two different one-shots that he did. So this is really, I think, one of their cool things that they've been doing a lot recently is really powerful one-shot stories.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah. Good job, Source Point Press, on picking you guys up.
Some good foreign work too. I feel like it's not super often where you see 2 non-American creators getting picked up in the American market.
Yeah, I don't think it should matter. It's just the quality of work that should matter. But
exactly,
you can write good stories from anywhere.
Yeah,
you can draw good stories from anywhere.
Yeah, but it's pretty crowded here for it's still sort of a niche market, but there's a lot of creators, and I think a lot of work goes to established ones, which is fine.
Do you have any stuff that you could recommend for us from your country?
No.
Okay, well, never mind. I tried.
No, I just don't. There's
what about
I'm not up to date either. I'm not up to date. It's very, very different here. The way it goes in European comics is that there's usually a team of creators, and they just work on the same comic for 40 years. That's just how it works here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, I think the creator's French for MFKZ.
Yeah.
You know the French better than I do.
But he apparently has.
Well, so it got turned into a TV series, and then the comic got picked up for the American market.
Yeah, so it was French comic into French animated series into American animated series into American comic. It did like the full circle there.
Wow.
They went very backwards.
Very backwards.
It's up
40 years, yes.
It's like a manga.
Yeah, sort of. But they come out like once a year or something, and they're a big deal, and there's like a lot of commotion.
I know there's been, I think, honestly, I feel like French and Italian creators pop up a lot into the American
Italians are very good. There's a lot of Italians in the American market too.
Yeah.
They're very good.
I have some artwork from an Italian back here. She lives in America now, actually, but Francesca Fantini. She actually came to New Orleans recently. They did a signing and everything. So, Italian artists, fantastic.
There's one guy. His name is Romano Molenaar. He did some work for Witchblade years and years back, and he's pretty well known here. But there's no other Dutch people in U.S. comics. There hasn't been for 30 years.
Well, there are.
Anna Everts, if she's watching, then she's pretty active too. Editing and writing, but artists not so much. Not that I'm aware of. I might get some crap for this, of course, but I don't know.
You get one angry tweet like, "Hey, I exist."
Well, if you're there, then hit me up. Let's have some coffee.
Yeah, get together, have fun, and do art together. Like, build that network over there in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there's got to be people out there that, like you, wanted to do it and didn't know how.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
So find them on social media, hit them up and say, how'd you do it? Help me. Not that I'm offering your services, but
no, but
you may or may not require payment.
No. I'm an approachable person. You can talk to me anytime.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to chase my boyhood dreams here, and I wouldn't want anyone else to not do that. And if I could help, not that I'm there yet, but if I could give some advice and just generally talk about the process of it all, then I'm always down for that. Not just the Dutch, but anyone. Talking is fun. I hope to be at cons all over the world at some point. But
fingers crossed I can get my copy signed.
Yeah.
One day, we'll get you over here. I know we're approaching an hour here, but I know you said there was something else potentially that you and Anas are working on.
Yes. The comic.
He's much better at remembering these things than I am. Was like something else? Ooh.
Yeah. So when he got in touch with me for the first time, it was for a different comic book, which I'm going to start doing that next Monday.
Ooh.
And it's I think I can. He was okay with me telling you guys at least that what it is. So we're doing like an anthology series, but it's just myself and the artist Tench. I don't know if you have heard this name. It's 5 issues in the same universe. A bit of sci-fi stuff going on. in which like the people discover that they've been living in a simulation, and then there's short, small stories about how that impacts people's lives.
Oh, okay, that sounds so cool.
I like that concept. I like it.
Yeah, I've read it like more than a year ago, and it's gonna be pretty cool. Yeah,
that sounds so cool.
So it's like a very big thing. What if you would find out that reality doesn't exist, but it's told in a very small way, with just families and single people and how they experience it. And I'm gonna do 3 issues, and Tenchi's gonna do 2.
Okay.
And we're gonna try and get that somewhere, get that in people's hands.
So aiming for cool. A publisher versus like the crowdfunding, like you did with Objects in the Mirror.
Well, if it's up to me, then we always go to publishers because not for any reason in particular other than that is my boyhood dream. I just want my my bookshelves to be filled with my comic books.
Yeah. No, that's why I was asking, because it sounded like that was probably the goal with it, was to get it out there to a publisher.
It is totally as a miniseries. Yes.
Awesome.
But I still have to start work. I have read the script, and we have discussed on the style of it, because it will be a bit different than Ether's. There's going to be speech bubbles, narrative.
As long as they're not as big as an entire panel. I literally will open a book up, and if a third of every panel is speech bubble, I'm just like, no.
No.
You clearly did not communicate with each other well enough to be making this book. I'm sorry.
No. Yeah. But if our communication is extremely good. We, like I said, we speak.
I mean, given what I've seen so far, yes.
Yeah. So that wouldn't
perfectly in sync.
Yeah.
It really just tends to be a lot of like Marvel and DC, where they're like, we have to tell you these words and we have to put them on the page. I'm sorry.
Well, just be happy they don't do the exposition thing at the first page anymore. Or that Cyclops doesn't tell you that he's now using his optic blasts to open the metal door or something like that. They used to do that too. It's assumed that you know these things.
Yeah, the good old comics days.
The good old days where nobody knew anything at all.
I miss that.
But yeah, where can people find you and follow your work and see what's going on with your comic creating career?
Well,
can they send their pictures of their books at their shelves?
Oh my God, yes, they can. I want those. I'm serious. And the username you see here, I'm pointing at it. I think.
Yeah.
That's my Twitter and Instagram handle. I have no Instagram following. People don't like me on Instagram. I don't know what that is. I don't get the algorithm, and I'm usually more active on Twitter. I'm not super active. Very neutral.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of work ahead of me in 2023, none of which I can tell you about. So if you like Ethers, if you will like Ethers in the future, then consider giving us a follow. And
unfairly pretty work.
Yes, pretty pictures. And follow Annis as well, Michelle Abbonader, and DC Hopkins, and Sourcepoint Press, and you guys, and just everyone.
Everyone, everywhere.
And please pre-order our book.
Yes, you have till the 28th.
The 28th.
You have a whole extra 6 days before it goes on sale in a month.
I think. Isn't that because it was announced around Christmas time or something that you got a week extra? Maybe I don't know.
And it'll be on shelf.
I'll take it. I will.
March 22nd.
Yes.
If the code was. I was just gonna see if this had the code to wait. I've got the previews tab up here. Let me do this real quick before we close out. Put this up on the screen for people. There's the order code.
That's
right
what
there.
You're looking for.
Tell your shop you want this, and this is the code. And they have a little bit of time to put their order in, but do it now. So guaranteed you get it.
Do it now.
Right now. Increase the sales on the book. Sell it out at the distributor. Do all those things.
That'd be nice. Yeah, like we talked about. If the shops see that they're ordering it, then they might put it on the shelves too. And that's very important to us indie guys. Get some books
And
and shelves.
And it's 30 pages.
For
Yeah.
$5.
For $5.
5 books.
So not those little
$5.
tiny 22-page books, 30-page books.
It's 30
no
pages.
advertisements for the next issue, other BS.
I think there is
It'll be all at the
advertisements.
back.
There's probably a little bit of Source Point Press
They
advertising.
always put them at the back of the book, though.
Yeah.
They're good about it.
No interruption in story. Yeah.
No.
But yeah, thanks again for coming on, calling in. Of course,
Sending our love to Anas and the family.
Yes.
We'll do.
Our thoughts are with Anas and everyone in Turkey and Syria. If you
And
missed
reminder, guys, we have that link below and in the chat.
Yeah.
But
Go donate. This is to support the relief efforts over in Turkey and Syria. I think specifically Syria, as Anas is from Syria, this was one of the projects over there that's helping. So
yeah, it's pretty hard to get teams there. So
yeah,
it is an accomplishment. Yes,
yeah,
we're very happy.
Absolutely accomplishment. Keep up the great work in 2023.
Yes, can't wait to have you back
project,
for whatever's next.
Yeah, we'll have you back on here. Time traveling through the days from today's Thursday here, Friday over there. Yeah. I think it's very appropriate that Promiscuous Time Traveler is on here right now. So we're having some time traveling experience right now. But yeah, thanks again, everyone. Go follow Dennis, follow Anas. Go pick
follow
up
him on both Twitter and Instagram. Make the algorithm love him.
Exactly. And of course, if you're watching here and you're not subscribed, hit that button down there. Drop a comment. Let us know that you've ordered it at your shop in the comments. And have a nice night, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.